Hello there, my name is Petra Tjitske-Kalshoven and I'm a cultural anthropologist with the University of Manchester. I had the pleasure to collaborate with Wallace Heim on the X equals 2140 exhibition presented here. The exhibit had its roots in workshops we held in summer 2019 in Whitehaven, where we tried to imagine what the Sellafield site could be after decommissioning in 120 years' time. We organized these workshops as part of the Sellafield Site Futures project, a multidisciplinary initiative by the University of Manchester's BEAM Research Network, in which we investigate the social aspects of nuclear power and waste. The Sellafield Site Futures project brings together two streams of research at the University of Manchester. One stream comes from the nuclear scientists and engineers at the university, both in Manchester and at the Dalton Cumbrian facility here in Whitehaven, who work on remediation, environmental cleanup involved in decommissioning, and on specific materials that need to be reckoned with in nuclear decommissioning, including radionuclides, but also materials that are impacted upon by radioactivity, such as concrete. The other stream of research comes from the social scientists at our university, who are interested in the social, socio-economic, political, and ecological phase of decommissioning and in its heritage. Sellafield Site Futures brings these different research strands together in thinking about so-called end states for the Sellafield site. What might the site look like, and what might technology and science and society look like in 120 years' time post-decommissioning? To explore these questions, we organized small-scale workshops here in West Cumbria to engage in science fiction and imagine a future world. We had a stimulating mix of people participating, both from the nuclear industry and its supply chain, and from all kinds of other professions in West Cumbria. Artists, tourism professionals, people working in ecology and in ethics, heritage people. And we had Wallace Heim there at the workshops. In her art practice, Wallace combines several of the interests I mentioned. She's interested in science, in the nuclear, in ecology, in politics. With Wallace, we did not have only an artist on board. In her, we also had an environmental philosopher and a theatre professional thinking along with us. We asked Wallace to create something rather monumental and perhaps provocative, inspired by the discussions at the workshops. With Wallace's background in theatre, what we get here in the exhibit, I think, is a performance. The three freestanding sculptures are performing stories for us that we can add to. They are still lives, but they can make us move. They are there to make us reflect on possible narratives for the future. They tell different stories through time that allow for different opportunities to be taken or to be ignored. Different kinds of knowledge are there to take advantage of, some hidden, archived, some on the surface. The fonts are closed off in different ways, inaccessible, yet they allow for viewing through protective mechanisms. They connect with the environment in different playful ways. They refer to the Sellafield site and some of its iconic features. You can recognize the golf ball, the leaded glass, and the fencing. And remember, Sellafield means the field of willows. You can discover the willows in one of the fonts too, if you manage to look closely. It's been a real pleasure for me to see the exhibit take shape and to see all the materials that went into its making, all the different surfaces that Wallace and her collaborators have created, out of soil, lead, moss, shells, plastic, concrete, clay, and that are folded into other surfaces and structures. And this in itself resonates for me with what has struck me during my fieldwork in the nuclear industry, namely how nuclear waste is wrapped and rewrapped and repackaged, and how surfaces get revealed and covered and uncovered, how there's always something mysterious and alluring about it. So I would urge you to try and look closely at those materials and how they have been inscribed and what role they might play in the story over time in this specific place. What we hope for is for this exhibit to make you imagine and perhaps act and help shape a future amidst uncertainties and unknowables. And of course, recently, we have had lots of experience with uncertainties and unknowables. But perhaps we can act and help shape a future out of the materials here that make up the world, out of perhaps new materials that will be created, out of the radioactivity too, that is at the core of this world, of our planet, and that makes it, ironically perhaps, livable.